Alright, so the next movie, which is another one I don't have a lot to say, is The Triplets of Belleville. The Triplets of Belleville is a 2003 animated comedy film written and directed by Sylvain Comet. The film was an international co-production between companies France, the United Kingdom, Belgium and Canada. The film tells the story of Madame Souza, an elderly woman who goes on a quest to rescue her grandson named Champion. Well, that's what they refer to him in the movie anyway. A Tour de France cyclist who has been kidnapped by the French mafia and taken to the city of Belleville for gambling purposes. She is joined by the Triplets of Belleville, a musical triplet trio, whom she meets in the city and who were popular in the American theatre scene back in the day, and her obese dog hound Bruno. This movie is weird, but interesting. It's more or less like a silent movie because there's hardly any dialogue in it. There's a lot of music. There's a lot of people. Let me do this properly. Animation. The animation is really weird, but kind of cool at the same time. The character designs are just across the board weird. Everything that's drawn in this anime to me is weird. Faces are long, faces are short. Everything looks different, but still pretty cool. Very colourful, really nice looking. It starts off with something that Nuance will bring up later. With a very...
I ain't bringing it up altogether.
You're not going to bring it up? Do you want me to bring it up then? It starts off with this silly racist scene with some naked black woman doing some Shaka Zulu stupid dance.
With bananas.
It's offensive.
And a monkey.
It's offensive. It's
to the third power.
It's an offensive racist scene.
Nearly turned it off.
But, I knew what they were doing because it was set in a certain time where they were trying to... Anyway, the animation is interesting because it's different. To be honest with you, I need to summarize this whole thing up. The whole movie is like just walking into a weird room and seeing weird shit, and it's silent. You just sit back and watch this weird story, weird animation, nice music, very nice music. But this is just an oddball movie that it did win a lot of awards, and I did enjoy in some aspect. But you can sum this whole movie up as a weird but interesting experience for me.
Okay. For me, the animation is like a 1920s, 1930s kind of black and white kind of animation. And it's one of those ones where all of the characters are ugly. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are no pretty kind of characters. None of the characters are drawn in a kind of prettyish way. Like you said, long noses. When they're young, they look kind of very plain and long noses, buck teeth, kind of 1920s kind of looking kind of thing. Yeah. Not saying everyone in the 1920s is ugly, but I'm just talking about the animation, the way things were drawn back then. And then when they're old, they're very small and, wrinkly and stuff. What I will say about it is I like the animation because there was a griminess to it that was very different. And even though it was weird, it was still, there was a lot of detail in the animation, which I thought was good. In regards to the double, the sub, whatever, there was no real music, there was no sound in a sense. No. There was no talking. There was a lot of music, and it's quite musical. And that's the reason why I say it's kind of like an homage to like a silent movie in a sense, because there is no talking. It is all about the actions and stuff like that and the music. Yes, there is a scene at the beginning that I fucking hate. Okay? Because I'm all black power here, okay? And the last thing I want to see is some woman... Basically, let me just set the stage very quickly. It's kind of like a show. It's a show, basically. Everybody's watching this show, and they have different acts. And one of the acts is this black woman with her tits down to her knees, whatever, her belly button, with bananas around her waist, and a gudunk, 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 gudunk. Kind of, it was fucking ridiculous. Like, I hated it. right? And I found it totally offensive. I nearly turned it off, but I knew that they were doing it. I knew they kind of got away with it because they were trying to set it in a time. And there were other offensive things that came on that stage before anybody turns around and says that if they watch it, that I'm only bringing out the black woman. I'm not. There were other things, but obviously, as I am a black woman, I found it offensive. To summarise it, for me, this is the epitome of an acquired taste. Yeah, this is an acquired taste, but I thought it kind of sweet and endearing. There were some bits that were nasty as hell, and it was just the fact that it wasn't nasty like gruesome. It was just the way things are drawn. Sometimes you see there's a bit where they're eating at a table. I'm not going to go into it, but they're eating at a table. It's kind of nasty just to see them eating. It's, you know,
you might as well explain why. It was what they're eating.
Yeah, they're eating frogs' legs.
Yeah.
And before anybody says frog's legs are not disgusting, they taste like chicken, I have heard that, and I haven't eaten them myself. But it's not that the fact that they're eating the frog legs is because the frogs are kind of still alive.
Yeah.
And stuff. And the way they're eating them, and they eat tadpoles and stuff like that, and it's kind of nasty.
It's like a Ren and Stimpy skit.
Yeah, but it is but like I said, the animation is very well done.
Yeah. Because
it makes you feel that way.
It's detailed.
It's detailed.
So it's kind of visceral.
Yes. But I will say, there is a sweetness to this animation.
Yeah. It's charming.
Yeah, it is charming. And the whole idea of, you know, the grandmother trying to save her grandson is sweet. And the ending, to me, I kind of had to rewind 4 times because I just couldn't believe that was the ending. But I guess it was sweet.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the characters felt like they were in a trance through the whole movie.
It's an acquired taste, 100% acquired taste.
Obviously, I have to give it the same rating. It is the definition, the epitome of an acquired taste.
But it was good. It was good.
This movie is, out of all the movies we've reviewed today, spoken about, it's the most acclaimed movie of all. People absolutely love this movie. I can
understand that because it reminds me of that film. What's that movie? That silent movie? I can't remember.
What, The Artist?
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of The Artist.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that, you know, it's a kind of bit of a throwback.
Yeah.
And all that kind of crap. So I can understand why it would be acclaimed. Because to tell you the truth, nobody does animation like that anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody does a movie. And it is a silent movie, really.
Yeah.
That is just about her trying to save her grandson. And that's really all it's about. But everything that happens is all about the sound, the cars, the music, the background music. That's what really makes the movie. They don't talk. And there's this really endearing bit that is a bit of a spoiler. But I want to say it anyway, if you don't mind.
All right, people, she's going to do a little bit of a spoiler.
Sorry, but I just want to talk because it shows the music bit. There's a bit where the grandmother meets these 3 women and she goes back to their house and she's not allowed to touch things like they won't let her touch the freezer or a newspaper. One of them loves the fridge and you're not allowed to put anything in the fridge. One of them loves the newspaper. You're not allowed to put anything in the newspaper. And one of them loves the Hoover. You're not allowed to use it. So she's kind of confused. And later on, you get to see why they don't, whatever. And that just shows the epitome of why the movie, I can see why the movie was acclaimed and successful. Yeah. Because it is very, very musical. And if you're a kind of person that likes that kind of music element, you're very musical yourself, I think you're going to find it quite interesting.
Yeah, I want to give it like an acquired taste of watchable. In the same, it's watchable. If it was on, maybe more of an acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste for me, definitely.
But I found it watchable as well.
Yeah, but I don't think that just because something's an acquired taste doesn't mean it's watchable.
It's not watchable. Yeah, doesn't mean it's not watchable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean it's not watchable. It just means that it appeals to a certain.
Well, what I meant by watchable to anyone.
Oh, watchable to anyone. No, it's not watchable to anyone. It's not watchable to anyone.
Probably not.